The Gourmet Burger Kitchen has recently launched a CVA. This is part of a long raft of companies in the mid-market dining sector in the UK that's been under pressure and had to try to restructure the cost base of the business to remain viable. The whole of that market segment is oversaturated. There's been a number of years now of various private equity firms buying into these businesses and rolling the format out around the country, to the extent now that there are probably too many of them in most towns, and they're probably in the scrabble to proliferate around the country. They've possibly overpaid in rent, so they now find themselves with highly rented premises, not enough customers to cover all the overheads, and they're now looking at their base of stores and deciding that they need to reduce it to get to a more viable level again. In addition to this, the consumers on the high street have possibly tightened their belt in response to higher interest rates, a bit of inflation and a bit of caution ahead of Brexit. So there's not the same level of demand out there, and even the customers that are going out to dine, they're probably looking to reduce the cost by using vouchers from people like Groupon and Voucher Cloud to get discounts on the meals. In addition to the lower levels of demand, there's also cost pressures that are bearing down on these companies. There's the increased rates on their premises, the higher levels of minimum wage and living wage, the auto-enrolment of pensions, the percentages are going up, and at the same time there's also pressures on being able to find the right levels of staff. It's a sector that a lot of the immigrants from Eastern Europe in recent years have gained employment in, but the net migration levels are now negative, so there's less of those people around, and the labour market is tightening generally. So not only have they got additional cost pressures and lower levels of consumer demand, they've also got constraints on the labour that they can obtain to help to provide the service, which means that sometimes they're probably not being able to satisfy the levels of demand when they're there. Other times they're probably not able to provide the service levels that might generate repeat custom. So that's a sector that's under pressure, and because a number of the competitors have already done CVAs, those that haven't are facing further competition from those that have, because the others have managed to reduce their cost base, particularly on the rental side. So there's all sorts of pressures on that sector that mean that Gourmet Burger Kitchen are having to enter into a CVA, and I suspect there'll be others in that sector that will follow them in due course, as there have been a number already in that sector gone down that track.